advantage of all those things that are available to us. A second thing, just to support what Magnus said, I saw some data, very interesting data, that the customers, they believe, 85% of customers, they believe on their peers' recommendation. And only 15 believe in advertising. We have 88 million people talking about our products. So they are the best way to really give to the customer our value proposition. So I'm very enthusiastic. I think that we really can do a leapfrog in our industry using connections, relationships, and digital technology.
Truman?
Well, I think if we look back to the mid-'90s and late '90s when the internet started to emerge, there were a lot of people who predicted the demise of direct selling as a result of the internet, which obviously has not been the case. We, like others, and I'm interested to hear from Doug on this topic because perhaps no one invested as much as Amway did with the Quickstar investment and whatnot. And we've spent just a lot of money on various internet initiatives and appreciate the power of the internet as a communication tool. What I'm still looking for is an example in the direct selling world of a company or distributors who are using the internet to truly build their business. And I'm just honestly not sure that we've seen that yet in our industry. I think we've seen the internet be an incredibly powerful communication device. I'm not sure that we've seen the internet be a really effective tool for business building.
Well, I'll dive in. We did have, in the late '90s, we felt that the internet was going to change our industry. It was going to change direct selling, and we thought the twist at that time was, as you heard here, maybe the internet will eliminate direct selling. We saw it as an empowering tool for our sales force, that they could use it as the tool to enhance their business and enable them to be stronger. And we thought we could change our industry. What we've learned since is it changed our life, not just our industry. Everything has changed because of technology. So our thought at that time was maybe too small. It changed everything about how we operate and continues to be more and more empowering to the individual, which is better for our industry. But it does present some challenges. And I think for those of us as companies here and for government officials who are here, it's changing our life, and that means it has to change the rules. It has to change the laws. We have ways of communicating, and we have rules about proper communication in our industry, in our companies. The internet makes a lot of those rules obsolete. Technology goes so far beyond the way we wrote rules before and the way perhaps laws had been written. So it requires an even greater relationship between the companies and our sales force with our leaders, as well as with government agencies, to make sure that the laws and the regulations all take into account what's happening in this world of technology as well. And so, kind of to Magnus, to your point, are we asking the right questions? We're still learning the right questions to ask. But the thing that cannot be understated, and the thing that we need to understand the most, is that technology is empowering the individual, and it is going to give individuals the business tools and the resources and the access to information that we never could have imagined before. And so I think it opens up tremendous opportunities for our industry.
Yeah. I think that we haven't collectively quite figured it out yet, but we have to. I saw a statistic that I think it took 30-some years for radio to reach 50 million users. It took 13 years for television to reach 50 million users. It took 3 years for the internet to reach 50 million users, and it took 9 months for Facebook to reach 100 million users. And so that speed I think says it all. So I think we have the industry where high touch and never the elimination of high touch can marry with high tech. We've invested, we're obviously looking in the future to see productivity gains, but we've got everything from intelligent ordering. So if Tamuna places an order and she's $35 away from the next commission level, it will tell her the 4 products that she orders, usually that she didn't order in this order, and what the offer was, and spur her to add it as a productivity tool. The Avon brochure, which is our store, our catalog, they're PDF files so that it can be virally sent out. I spent some time with a 26-year-old Avon representative in the United States who gets up in the morning, she just turns on Facebook, and that's how she does her business. She she manages her downline on Facebook. It's all on Facebook today. Is it all 6.5 million representatives today? No, but if with that speed I just said, it's the social network community has got to have an impact, and I think we need to just understand how. I don't think any industry has truly yet really monetized the community, and if anyone can, it should be us. Economy, as I think I mentioned in my opening remarks, when we were together in Singapore, it was sort of the beginning of the global meltdown, and while some economies are better worldwide, there's still a tremendous amount of concern and volatility out there. And I guess just how each of you are looking at sort of the macros, which we'd all like to see a little stronger in general in the second half, and how you might be adapting strategies, et cetera, to deal with that. Magnus?
Well, there's no doubt that the macroeconomic developments are impacting us and will impact us, and obviously I don't think I have any other answer than most other people. I don't know. Besides the fact that it's going to be bad, it's going to be a bloodbath, and some will be winners and some will be losers. And unfortunately, but there will be many more losers than what we're used to. That's, I am pretty clear. What are we doing? I think this question, we are a public company, as many here, and of course, as a public company, this is a never-ending question. And there's no doubt that we are adapting ourselves in terms of investment levels, in terms of reviewing our cost planning to adapt ourselves to an environment where growth may be smaller or not there at all, and obviously there has to be regional differences. Because one of the things that I see with our business is we have from an Oriflame perspective, and I think also from our industry perspective, a very good geographical footprint. We see Asia, we see Latin America, most likely also Africa coming out of this in a much better shape than what we used to call Western Europe and North America. So from that perspective, I think that we are in a much better situation than normally. Then of course, a direct selling business, we have a lot of our costs are normally variable in terms of selling expenses. Very often sales and marketing expenses, catalogs are very often a variable cost to our sales. So that's also a good way of securing ourselves, and that's obviously something that we are pushing even further in a situation like this. Reviewing our balance sheet, making sure that we don't have leveraged ourselves too much, and in our case we have already reviewed our finances, did that in the spring, so that we have a solid financing scheme now for the next 10 years, so we feel that we'll get through this crisis. No matter what will happen, we will survive, and we will actually use that in order to be able to invest through this instead of having to meet every month's interest charges that may go either way through this period. And last but not least, of course, I think that now it is time to really gear up the income opportunity communication. I think it is no doubt that even in countries where we previously maybe did not see the income opportunity communication as the most important one, countries like Sweden, for example, this will now become more important. I think that the second income, the additional income, that story will hold better than in a long time in many countries. And I think that also the story about being a entrepreneur, being an independent business owner, that story is also something that we're really always focusing on, but I think that the story is stronger and more solid at this point, and I think that is something that we will, of course, focus on even further going forward now.
Should I? Well, I will add to the economic moment, tough moment, also the social and environmental one. I think that we are facing an environmental crisis. Everybody knows. Not so many speak about, but we are facing a huge challenge for the next generation in environmental arena, and also social one. And I think that even though we must take care of those things in the short term, and all of us, we need to adjust, to adapt, depending the situation, also including the economic aspect, I think that it's very important to not to forget, again, the purpose, the strategy in the long term. Otherwise, we start to see only for the next year, or next quarter, or next month, and we forget why we are here, And we are here to help to solve those things. And we are in an industry that can really helps with earning opportunities, as Magnus said, social opportunities, because it's a way to include people, to give opportunities to people to learn, to do their business, to develop themselves. And also, environmentally speaking, we can do a lot of things because we can teach people how to save water, because we deal, again, with 88 million people that deals with hundreds, probably billion consumers. So if we can really make these people better, we can help, maybe in a small way, but to change the world and help in those moments. And again, I think that we have a huge opportunity to be part of a better society for the future.
Well, you know, one of the, I think just a little different from others here is we're a private company, so when it comes to having every quarter to try to get to the analysts and explain what's going on with the business, we don't have to worry about that. So,
Sure, rub it in.
Yeah, sorry, sorry about that. But I think it allows us, and I would say, if we get beyond that and we get again down to where our business is with individuals, with our independent business owners, I think what we offer in difficult economic times is an ability for somebody to grab onto certainty, for something that they can claim, where we can say, if you'll do this, we know our business works. And I know we can't control interest rates. We don't know what's going to happen in the global economy. But if you want to start earning some money, we know that our products are still valued in the marketplace because other people are buying them and other people are selling them. And I think we can bring it down to say, don't worry about the macroeconomic issues. Where's your economic issue? And so again, as an industry, we can take it down to the individual, and we can help them build for the future. Again, we're not talking about get rich quick. We're talking about building a base for the long term. So so maybe in the next economic downturn, you won't be as concerned because you will have done the things today to prepare for tomorrow.
You know, I'm just reflecting on 3 years ago when we were in Singapore for the World Congress, watching the market drop like a rock on a daily basis. And everyone was wondering then, well, how will direct selling fare in this period of real economic turbulence? And you know what? We've done a whole heck of a lot better than other industries have. And no, we're not immune to economic turbulence, but we certainly have done a lot better than other industries.
I was privy to some advertising sort of trends and information, just much broader, obviously, than our category or our channel. And I mean, I think there's sort of in this new normal. I think this thought of this is an environment that is changing people's values. It's not just about, well, when the economy resumes, we'll just start spending again. I think people want to live differently, want to spend differently, kind of given this. So I guess the two things were just obviously being smart about value. They want innovation, but they just want to be smart spenders and save more. But also family values, never been more important. Self-reliance, never been more important. And again, either sustainability or companies doing things for the good of community being even more important. I think they just fit so well into our industry. You know, when we looked at our own advertising, if I just looked at marketing, we had looked at one men's fragrance celebrity And in 08, the positioning was he was driving a sports car. It was